Welcome to Erratic Sleep Patterns, guys. I have so much phlegm in my chest today for some reason, and I'm constantly coughing and like clearing my throat and trying to breathe, and it's very difficult. And so this might have more cuts than normal. I'm trying to not explain cuts. I'm trying to just let me make my thing and edit it as I need to. But I need you to understand that behind the scenes, this episode has been super gross. What is up, party people? It's Amy. And I've seen other channels talking about like talk shows and stuff like that. I think Jarvis talked about Jerry Springer and Maury Povich. And I keep hoping that someone's going to talk about my favorite talk show. And I never hear anybody even whisper about this talk show. I'm not proud to admit it, but I used to love watching talk shows when I was younger. My favorites were Jenny Jones, Rolanda, Ricky Lake, and I fondly remember when Tempest Bledsoe started her talk show, in part because my stepmom and I agreed that it was a role she would have to grow into. And in that moment, I felt very adult and listened to. So that stuck with me. I don't remember her show very well. I just remember that part. The hard thing for me about talk shows is that a lot of it is like pointing and laughing at people or, seeing things that are like strange. And I will admit, the show that I like the most was basically a sideshow. Not in the way that you might be thinking. I never really enjoyed Jerry Springer because I didn't like the spectacle. I don't like people fighting. Overall, it was just not a show for me. Maury Povich wasn't a huge fan of. I watched it if I was sick because it was on in the daytime. We all like the You're Not the Father stuff because that's kind of fun. And I remember when I was younger, there were some episodes of the Maury Povich show where it's like the person, this is probably an exaggeration. I'll look it up and I'll put something in, I think. But I remember there'd be some people who were like, this is my 20th time on the show. This guy is absolutely the father. Okay, laughing so hard. So I found a clip of the lady who's been on 9 times and tested 11 men, and none of them are the father. And
now, Tilia appeared on the Maury Show 9 times. Tested 11 men in an effort to establish the paternity of her then 4-year-old daughter, Sade.
I mean, like, I understand it must be frustrating to not know who your baby's dad is, right? And I have a lot of questions about this process and how we got to this point, but that's neither here nor there. I do understand being disappointed that you're not finding the person. The thing that I love about this montage is this chick is flipping out every single time, throwing herself on the floor, crying. I'm not happy that she's upset. The way I feel, though, is like after the 5th show, when they say he's not the father, I would think, would be used to it. I also appreciate the scene where she's crying on Maury.
I don't know what mistake I made, but I think he punishing me.
And this is not to shame anybody, but I feel like in this particular situation, we know what she did wrong to get here. Granted, I don't know her whole story. And granted, I believe that this is all fake. That's why I love her commitment of just throwing herself on the floor every single time. I just love it. I just love the dramatization so much. I was laughing so hard watching that, and it's so weird to be laughing that hard at someone being that upset. But my God, after a while, just be like, yeah, that sounds about right. We're used to this. Freak out when you finally find out who the dad is. Especially if it turns out to be somebody unexpected. Test Maury at this point. It seems to be like the person you at least suspect. Because everyone you are suspecting is not getting you there. Test Maury. But like some of the other stuff with Maury, it felt more like the sideshow side that I don't necessarily like, where we're pointing and laughing at people or horrified by people.
Our next guest is a little girl who was born without a midsection. Please welcome Domla Jones. Can you tell the audience how miserable your life is?
This is terrible, dude. Maury Povich parades these poor people around on a show like Carnival Freaks, and then gives them prizes at the end as if to justify it. What a dick.
Do you or someone you know have a disfigurement or disability that we can exploit on the Maury Povich show?
But I felt that there wasn't a lot of empathy in some of the things that we were seeing and learning about. I felt like it should have been more educational. If Maury had been a more educational show, I probably would have loved it. It's a little weird going back to look at talk shows from the 90s because it's only been 30 years, but it's like a lot has changed in 30 years for a lot of people. We still have a lot of people who still think that way, the way that people thought in the 90s. But I find some of the conversations still kind of interesting, even in a time capsule-y sort of way, of like trying to find acceptance or understanding of why things are. That's why I liked talk shows, is I like to see like kind of both sides and understand, you know, how we got there, where, you know, where things come from. That's always been something for me. Even to this day, I like to understand. I don't necessarily agree, but I like to listen to people critically and kind of understand how they got to a point where they got in some cases, or even find information that it turns out that maybe I was thinking wrong about things. I like that kind of thing, and that's what I liked about talk shows. I really liked the episodes with the people with the crazy weaves, and the reason why is because I loved that kind of creativity. If you've noticed, my hair color is constantly changing. I found it fascinating. There was an episode where a lady had a weave with a bird in it. It was like a little tiny bird, little birdhouse thing in the back of her hair. Fan-fucking-tastic. I wanted that to be more acceptable. You know, people are like, oh, well, they have to sleep sitting up. They can't lay down or they'll ruin their weave. Obviously, you kill the bird. But, you know, and like, oh, it's, you know, too crazy. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched those shows in a long time. And obviously, I remember it from when I saw it as a child. And the thing that I remember the most is the bird. But some had working parts and fantastic colors. And why should we limit people's creativity in their hair? They do whatever the fuck they want. If you want to go through the work of having that done, and you're willing to sleep sitting up, which I've done. Sometimes I have breathing problems. Like if I have a really bad cold, I'll sleep sitting up. Oh, I don't care. Then go for it. It's awesome. Do whatever you want. Enough preamble, enough talking about shows that aren't the show that I want to talk about. What show do I want to talk about? Isn't it obvious? It's the Richard Bey Show.
It could be a talk show, but it might be a game show. It could be a good show, but it never is a lame show. You could switch the channels, but you'll never see the same show. Oh, Richard Bey Show.
The Richard Bey Show is a show that has stuck with me since I was very little. And I, looking it up, found out that it was only in syndication for 2 years. And that might be why people don't talk about it. In my head, it was so much longer. And I do know that like it started in New Jersey. So I think it ran for 4 years if you were in New Jersey. I was not in New Jersey. I did not have a New Jersey channel. I did not have a satellite or anything that could have made it. So I saw it for 4 years. It probably would have only been that 2-year window, but it stuck. This show, to me, at the time, was amazing. It had talk show stuff, but it was the good kind of sideshow. This was because I felt where I don't like the sideshow of Maury, because I feel that maybe some of the people involved in the sideshow aspect of it weren't in on the joke. I felt that everybody in the Richard Bey Show was in on the joke, right? Like things were ridiculous.
Well, wait a second. Did your ex-boyfriend ask you to help him with his belt? Why did you take his belt off with your teeth?
Because it was fun.
You know this disturbs your daughter. Does it bother you that she's upset about it?
You know what? She's 20 years old. If it bothers her, tell her to move her butt out of my house.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
There was game show aspects.
There are two things that make the world go round.
One is love, the other is money, and this show has both of those things here today. We have a lot of people who have been unlucky in love in our audience here who have come down to play a game where they can find a fabulous date. But that's not all. They could be trading that date in for wonderful prizes. In fact, so many prizes that their cumulative amount is worth over $5,000. That the one person in this audience or on our stage who this day says Bey's phrase that pays gets $100.
It's awful. He's a pig.
Sam?
Yeah.
He's a pig.
Just said. Yeah.
It's never happened this quickly. You have $100. Bey's phrase that pays was pig today. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Competition aspects.
For the first time, you're about to see Butts and Punies together at last. Our Puniverse contestants tied to our Big Butt contestants by a simple rope. But there is a catch. Our Punies are on roller skates as our Big Butts pull them in a marathon. We have a series of allegations here about either mothers or daughters. Now, if you think that your mom did any of these things, you hit the buzzer. If you are right, you get to pie your own mom.
There were discussions, which I like, you know, things that are difficult and weird.
Because all of the people on our panel know something that their friends or relatives do not. And soon the audience will be saying these words: we know something you don't know.
Well, weird. Let's be clear, weird. You know, things that people aren't familiar with.
Maggie, what do you think about her love for this guy in jail?
I think it's atrocious. She shouldn't even be with him.
What I found when I was looking it up yesterday is that it may have been canceled because he interviewed Jennifer Flowers about her relationship with Bill Clinton in November of 1996.
There is absolutely no one in my studio audience here today, and that should make some very powerful people in the media and in the government very happy. Because these people don't want you to hear what my guests have to say today. In fact, they've gone to great lengths to make sure that you don't hear the words that they want to speak. Going one step further, there is even a chance that they may stop this show, and then you will not be hearing me introduce my first guest, who is Jennifer Flowers. Thanks for being here today.
Then my name is brought up again, and my situation...
The media keeps telling us, though, the American people don't care about character.
Well, the media will lie to you. The media, it's a liberal media. They got Bill Clinton elected. They want him to get elected again. They slant a story to make us believe things a certain way, and they don't always tell you the truth and give you the facts. The biggest reality that I've had to face in the last 4 years has been that this so-called credible media that I thought could deliver me the facts and inform me so that I could make an articulate decision have been the biggest sluts for ratings, for sales. They'll do whatever it takes, and that doesn't mean that they're going to tell you the truth. I'm not talking about the tabloids.
And I think it's an unfortunate reason to cancel him. I think that's absolutely disgusting. And here's the thing. It is not easy to find clean quality or full episodes of the Richard Bey Show. I feel lucky that I found parts that I did, but to be very clear, it's not an easy feat. Again, people don't remember Richard Bey. Okay, so here's the thing that I loved about the Richard Bey Show. Before we get into some of the clips, and clearly adults watched it, but I feel that this show was perfect for an idiot who's 12 years old. They got sound effects. It's like a shock jock almost, like the way the sound effects go. It's ridiculous. In this 10-minute clip that I edited down, I found at least 15 occurrences of sound effects being used, although I may have missed a couple due to crowd sounds.
And wait a second, what does your brother have that normal men like me don't have? Oh, stop it, Walter. I mean, huh? Yeah.
But I really want you to be aware, the sound effects are weird. Like, when you think about what's happening, I feel at times, not always, sometimes it's funny, but at times, sometimes I'm like, the fuck are we watching?
were they so quiet, or are you such a sound sleeper that they didn't?
Well, all right, check this, right?
Hold on, wait a second. You're in the bed, and where are they?
They are in my living room.
All right, hold on, wait. You're in the bed, sleeping.
Okay, see right there, you can tell. Everybody can hear those sound effects. It's not just a post-production thing. So while these people are telling their stories, right, she's clearly upset because her boyfriend or husband or whatever cheated on her with her best friend. Genuinely upset, completely understandable. But they have the sound effects. Some dude with a soundboard is making the snoring noises because like, oh, were you deep asleep or were they just so quiet?
Larry, is this some sort of prank you're playing on me?
Prank you? Why? To prank you? You're my hero.
Ted, come on. I mean, a man has died here.
He, at one point, uses a megaphone to talk to people. They have the wheel of torture, where, like, if somebody was deemed to have done something wrong, usually, you get put on the wheel.
The wheel of torture!
The wheel of torture being so iconic at the time that it even came up when Richard Bey was on Sinbad.
Richard, it is definitely payback time.
Which means what? Let's go to the wheel of torture!
Oh my God, you
Yes,
made
the
a
wheel. We got the wheel of torture, baby. Let me get the goggles.
I don't need goggles.
You don't need goggles?
I don't need goggles.
Oh, wait, hold up. You don't need that, man.
Oh, yeah, Versace?
That's all right, man.
You gotta be kidding, Simp. Come on.
Let's get a good spin. Let's get a good spin on there. Good. Oh, one more.
We're out of them.
Man.
The show was bonkers. I loved it. And I hope you like it too. We're going to find out together. Sound like the gym blossoms in the background, so I might not be able to keep it in there. But there's an intro of what the episode's about, couples that have a secret. And it said, and now for a secret from the rest of the world, Richard Bey, which is a funny joke. And maybe I was the only one who watched this show back then. There's me and the 50 people in the audience or something, but.
All right, anybody here ever kept a secret from somebody? Yeah, what secret did you keep?
Too many.
Too many. You want to reveal one now on the
No.
air? Well, then you're smarter than our guest today on the show because...
See, I like that. I mean, I don't necessarily like making fun of people, but I like that he understands the joke. It's weird. Genuinely, and I thought this when I was a child. It's weird to have a secret and then decide to tell it on television. Again, if you don't understand that what's happening is often staged or fake, especially in these situations, obviously not all of them, it's almost bewildering. If I had a terrible secret, the last place I'd want to tell somebody is on national television.
Why did you choose a TV talk show as a place to tell her?
Well, I've tried to tell her about 4 or 5 times, and I figured this way, why would I come on national television and lie?
You wanted to know that what you're telling her is the truth and that it's very serious.
I'm trying to think of a situation where I would want to. Maybe if it was a government secret and I was on live television, I could see that situation. I can't see when I would be in that situation where I would have a huge government secret or when I would be on live television to just blurt it out so that the world knows before they murder me or whatever. Outside of that, it's just weird. Like, especially because it's terrible to your partner. Let's say, because we see this a lot on these talk shows. So let's say that I had cheated on my partner and I was like, it's weighing on me. I don't know what you go through for that, but probably feel guilt, probably sad, right? I would assume that you would feel bad. I would assume most people would feel bad. Let's say that. I'm sure a lot of people don't. And there's different circumstances. I'm not going to get into the whole reason why and when and how and whatever people cheating on each other. But I'm just saying, in this circumstance, I'm some person, I've cheated on my partner, and I feel really bad about it, and I want to tell them. I can't imagine a situation where I would go on television to tell them that secret. Like, I think that that's the best place to do it. It's not. Not only because you don't need everyone else to know your business. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, if somebody were to go onto a show and be like, oh, I cheat on all my partners, that's their deal. That's, you know, they can do whatever. But to bring this person who, up to this point, I assume trusted you for many reasons, you bring them on a show and then say, oh, I've betrayed you. I've been unfaithful, in some cases, extravagant amounts. Not only is it a crushing blow for the person in the first place, like, you know, most people don't want to be cheated on. Some people, that's their kink, and that's fine. But then on top of that, you have all of these strangers literally staring at them, and then even more people in the world who are going to see. And that's the part that would probably upset me more. Like, I probably wouldn't be happy about the cheating part. Again, it depends on the circumstances. Like, sometimes you want out of a relationship and that's like, oh, thank God, get the fuck out. But I would not want to be brought on television for it. I wouldn't want to be brought on television for most things. I don't even know if I'd want to be brought on television for good news. If it's the only way I could get the good news, sure. But, like, I don't know, just send me a text.
Our first guest is James. And James, you have been married to Nancy for how long?
15 and a half years, sir.
And you love this woman. She loves you.
I love her very much, sir.
What is your addiction to?
I'm addicted to dominatrixes.
All right. What happens to you, though, when you actually go to the place where you work out this addiction?
We call it a chamber, sir.
Yes, and what do you do there?
Well, the dominatrix takes charge. We are nothing. She is everything.
And what do you do with her?
Well, she can, and my particular favorite is being chained to a wall, with my hands above my head.
I feel, and I could be reading this wrong, this gentleman may also, this is just a guess, not sure, don't know them, don't know anything more than what I've seen on the clip, but I feel like this gentleman may have a bit of a humiliation kink as well. And maybe that's the real reason he's on the show. Also, what is this face? He was very concerned looking, but there's fucking sound effects.
Now, once you're chained to the wall, what does she do while you're there?
Well, she can torture me.
And what forms of torture do you find attractive?
Fingernails. Long fingernails.
I mean, she scratches you?
Yes.
Okay, why didn't you ever ask your wife, honey, we've been married for 14 years. Why don't you just chain me to the wall and scratch my back? I mean, it's not unusual that a wife will scratch her husband's back. It's... Does the wife see that? What? Yeah, does she see the scratches on your back?
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't see the scratches. You sleep on your back so she doesn't see it, huh?
Yes, sir.
And she has no idea that you're going to this place?
I don't tell her anything.
Okay, why haven't you told her?
I didn't think she would understand.
Okay, a couple things here. One, while it's difficult, communication is very important in a marriage. I'm of the opinion that I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't accept me. So while I would understand if my partner didn't have the same interests or didn't want to do the same things that I want to do, aside from like serious criminal things, I should not be supported in those endeavors. But aside from those, I feel that I want a partner who is supportive or at least tries to be understanding in the things that I enjoy. So for me, and I get that everyone's different, and I do understand how difficult it is to bring up certain aspects, especially in a long-term marriage. You know, especially I find a lot of people get married young and they don't really know about themselves until they've grown some. Because I want to be with a person who doesn't, you know, respect me and appreciate who I am fully. For me, while it's scary and it's uncomfortable because there's the risk of rejection, in some cases violence, in some cases humiliation, unless that's your thing. But to me, I feel that I'm not going to be fulfilled if I don't do the things that I want to do. I'll be left wondering, I'll be left unfulfilled. You know, I don't really like keeping secrets from my partner. Like fun secrets, like birthday secrets, sure. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Because I was talking about how like it's just terrible to bring your partner onto a show to tell them something that they don't know that turns out to be something that they don't appreciate. Can you imagine doing that as a birthday present instead? Happy birthday! I've slept with over 50 men since we've been married. Again, if that's their kink, might work out. We kid here. 2, I'm a little suspicious here that she might actually know if she's never seen them before. Now, I've never been chained to a wall by a dominatrix and had my back scratched. So maybe I don't understand some of the mechanics of it. I have been scratched before. It's pretty easy to leave a mark. I shouldn't do it now. I was just going to prove it, but trust me. It's pretty easy to leave a mark. I would assume in this scenario, they're probably pretty deep scratches. Hopefully not like full in digging in and pulling down the skin, but I mean, unless it's maybe more of a tickle sort of situation, but like I imagine there are some scratches. Now, I am super clumsy often, and I think this is like a stereotype of girls or something, but like I often have bruises that I don't even know where they came from. It's just there. Some of them are pretty big, some of them are pretty small. I wouldn't know they existed until my partner pointed them out and be like, where did this bruise come from? I don't know, dude. It's a risk of living. You can't walk around without getting bruised. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a banana. I mean, it probably is possible if they never see each other unclothed. Like, I can't imagine in 3 years you wouldn't accidentally, like, you bend over and your shirt comes up and there's some scratch marks, or you're in the bedroom getting dressed and she didn't realize you were in there and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And not to mention, I mean, like, I don't know, my clothes don't stay straight when I sleep. So, like, I mean, Richard Bey says you sleep on your back so she can't see. I think he's implying that he sleeps in the nude. You don't have to sleep in the nude, but it's very difficult to keep your clothes organized and your body very still when you're sleeping. So I don't know. I feel like maybe she probably knows before.
Well, it's not that. You could start off by this. You know, honey, there's a lot of people who are interested in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not interested in the dragons.
That joke is stupid, but it's solid, and I love it. Richard Bey's a fucking nerd.
I believe it'd be best if I went ahead and told everyone exactly why I am like I am.
Why are you like you are?
I had the fantasy since I was 9 years old. I suppressed them for over 30 years. One day I can suppress them no longer.
And you have no control over this?
No, sir.
I want to point out that doesn't explain why he is the way he is, necessarily. And granted, like, if you go into psychology, there isn't necessarily an explanation. There can be some explanations of how people pick up different kinks and stuff like that, but it's not universal. It's not across the board. So he doesn't have a story of like how, and this might be his thing, I don't know, but he doesn't have a story of how, like, when he was little, he was bullied and, you know, like somebody would tie him up and scratch his back or whatever. And doesn't explain it. But I do appreciate that the audience seems to be like supportive. He's like, I couldn't hold it anymore. And they're like, yeah. Maybe they all got their own kinks and they appreciate that. But it's just nice that people are like booing him or anything like that.
Before I bring your wife in, let's get something sort of straight, though. You don't have sex with these women, though, actually.
No, I do not. That is absolutely forbidden.
And it has really not much to do with this form of addiction exactly, right?
No, sir.
For you. She's very conservative. So we can expect her to be quite shocked when you reveal to her why you have a chain and a lock around your neck,
yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. How do you explain that to her at this point? Do you tell her that you are locking up your bicycle or something? And what?
No, sir. I call it the chain of sorrows.
Yes.
My mother died 6 months ago.
So you tell her this chain is connected to that feeling
Yes, sir.
of mourning, and she
Yes, sir.
believes that?
Yes, sir, she does.
First of all, I love how this guy doesn't explain how he explains things, right? He's like, how do you explain it to your wife? And he's like, I call it the chain of sorrows. And then he does go in a little bit more that, oh, my mother died 6 months ago. Is that the same time you started wearing that chain? Did you just take that opportunity? Like, well, my mom said, you want to stick a chain on me? Or like, how long? Like, he's not explaining anything. And I love it. He's just like, what are you going to do? I think it's, and again, I don't know his relationship with his mom. But for me, personally, I would have a hard time associating any sort of kink situation with either of my parents, dead or alive.
This is the woman you've been married to for 14 years, and the woman who has no idea that you have an addiction that she might possibly find strange, unusual.
Okay, again, I'm nervous. I think I'm more nervous than that guy is. And then Richard Bey's going to the back, and they have some stupid song going, like, da, 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 da. Like, this could ruin their marriage. And it's just silly music.
Can I have you come in with me, please?
Sure.
Because we've been talking to your husband, James, and he's told us about your marriage. You've been married for 14 years, right?
No, it's 15 years.
Oh, 15 years. Really?
Yeah,
Isn't that like husbands? They forget a year here and there, right?
Richard Bey, you son of a bitch. He said 15 and a half years when we started. You're the one who got the number wrong. Don't put it on her husband. She's already going to be mad enough that he's got something going on that she didn't know about. And now you make it seem like his marriage isn't important to him? Come on, man. Setting him up. Setting him up.
We also asked him to explain the chain and the lock around his neck. Could you explain it to us? Do you have an idea? What?
I'm not really sure, but he told me a few things, but I don't really know all the details.
You don't really know all the details. And bear in mind, though, he's also told us that he loves you very much, and he values your marriage, and he wants to share this with you.
Honey, I'm addicted to dominatrixes. I can't help it. It's an addiction. It's a weakness inside me. Please.
I had no idea.
I was ashamed to tell you. I was afraid you'd leave me.
No, I could never
Oh my
leave
God.
you. I could never leave you for anything, you know?
Okay, either she already knew or she doesn't know what a dominatrix is. But I feel like she knows. I feel like she knew. I feel like she knew. Here's a couple of things I'm guessing. If he hadn't actually told her before this moment, which I doubt, but let's say he hadn't actually told her before this moment, I do find that we recognize things in our partners, even if we're too scared to put voice to them or inquire further. We know when something's not necessarily right, and we may have our own guesses that we keep to ourselves. So it's quite possible that she knew before this, not because he told her, although I think he did, but because she was like, yeah, dude, you got scratches on your back all the time. You're wearing a fucking chain around your neck. I'm not dumb. Like, I get it. I see you. I'm pretty sure he told her, though. That is a reaction of somebody who knows and is pretending like, oh, because it's just a quick turnaround.
Did you have any suspicion or idea that he might have this particular fetish?
A few things, but I wasn't sure. I hadn't put any pieces together.
See, that's what I'm talking about. She had her suspicions.
I really didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to jump to any conclusions.
What made you a little bit suspicious about this?
I've seen the necklace, but I didn't know
I've seen the necklace. We all see the necklace.
He not really told me much of anything, but he let me believe there's something, but I really didn't know what to do.
Should tell you as well that he also told us that there is no sex involved in this, and that it's something that he feels he has no control over.
Well, I understand. No, I understand that, and and I'm very faithful to him, and he's very faithful to me, and I know there are no secrets.
She knew. She didn't even need Richard Bey to tell her that he hadn't been unfaithful. Like, she knew before he even finished the sentence. She's like, no, I know. He's not banging other people. We're both faithful. I get it. It's fine. She knew. Talk shows and wrestling are very similar in that there is some reality to them, but there's a lot of things that are scripted in advance. Okay, so let's take a look at Richard Bey's Sexiest Wife contest. I haven't seen this.
And we've got a great panel of judges here today to take a look at all these beautiful ladies. Let the good times roll, because you remember him as JJ on the hit TV series Good Times. Here's Jimmy Walker! And our next judge knows how to keep a woman looking and feeling sexy. She's the founder and CEO of Undercover Wear Lingerie. Some of the very sexy lingerie you're going to see here today. Please meet Tiffany James. And our next judge is someone you know by sound because you've heard him on the radio. This station came out of nowhere in New York and went right to #1. He's New York's #1 radio station, KTU. Sunday nights, 9 to 12. Please welcome Horatio. Are all our panelists single, or
at least single? Everybody's single and ready to rumble whatever you got in the jungle. Bring out any animals you can bring out here.
No, happily married for 26 glorious years.
Well, congratulations to you, because today this show is a celebration of marriage, happy marriages, husbands who are so in love with their wives. Let's meet them right now. Here's Rick and his private investigator wife of 1 year. She's 5'5", 105 pounds. Her name is Christine. Rick, step on out.
Hello, this is my wife, Christine. She's a private investigator. And check it out and see why she's the most sexiest wife in the world.
This is Christine. She was Miss Gilmore, California, 1991. Rick says not only is she beautiful, but she's his best friend. She has a big heart. She's understanding and compassionate. And she's a private investigator.
First of all, that's fucking adorable to me. I don't know why. It's just, and again, as an adult, looking back on some of this stuff, I do wonder how much of this is more kink related than I realized, but not getting into that. It's fucking adorable, right? Newlyweds, a year is newlywed to me. He loves her. She's cute. She likes showing off her body. Good for her, right? No hate on any of that. The thing that's weird to me is that everybody, they said it, 3 or 4 times, she's a private investigator. Doesn't it help if you're a private investigator that people don't know you're a private investigator? But he's very proud of her and he wants to show her off. So that's adorable. And maybe he doesn't like her as a private investigator, so he's trying to ruin her career. Who knows?
Horatio, what do you say? What's the first score you're going to give her?
She's absolutely gorgeous. That's a lovely purple bathing suit. I'm going to give her a 6.
6? Jimmy? The audience has a better score, you think, huh?
I mean, I liked her tremendously, and she's a private investigator, so I'm sure she'll be coming over to my house to look for some serious madness, ladies and gentlemen. And the tattoo that she got, I wonder if there's another one. Give the girl 8, ladies and gentlemen. Right on.
Does he realize her husband is right there? What are you doing?
Next couple has been married for 2 sizzling years. Carl and his sexy radio producer wife. She's 5'8", 141 pounds. Michelle and Paul.
My wife, Michelle, had a baby 2 months ago, and she's still dynamite.
The guy is playing to the judges. And I wonder if there's somebody backstage who is planning to do the same thing, and he's like, damn it!
He says he's got the sexiest wife. What do you say, Horatio?
Radio producer, she looks pretty good. I'm going to have to give her a 7. That radio thing.
Up 1 notch from his last score. Jimmy?
Well, this is the kind of girl I expect to see in a pool, maybe a pool hall, so I have to put her because she is black. She cannot get back and behind the 8 ball.
And
The fuck are you saying, dude? The fuck?
Good score, Tiffany.
I think she's fabulous. I think she gets a 7. Fabulous.
7.
We'll never know who won unless I can find the rest. I'm trying to, like, I love this. I loved this show. I'm still enjoying it now. I like the silliness. That's the part that I enjoyed. So, I mean, they weren't all just like fun and silly. You know, there are some serious episodes and that kind of thing. But for me, what I remember most was the silliness, the craziness, the mess of it. I might be remembering this wrong, but I think that I remember as it went on, and clearly I remember it going longer than it actually did, but I felt that as it went on, it got more into the messiness and the silliness. And I don't know, it's of the talk shows. It's my favorite talk show. I felt it was more fun. It was less judgy. Just people celebrating who they are, and the most part is how I remember it. So, this video is already pretty long. And I'm not sure how I'm going to edit it, so there may be more voiceover than normal. And I just wanted to give an appreciation for the show that I remember as being a lot of fun. When I was looking up clips, I did find that he was in the movie Bruno. I hadn't seen the movie Bruno, so I didn't know this until last night. I feel I'm not qualified fully to comment on the scene from that movie, but I will say I do love the baby photos because we've all seen photos like that. I understand that talk shows aren't, you know, highbrow necessarily, but I do find them entertaining. You get to see perspectives that you wouldn't normally have seen. You get to understand ideas that you normally wouldn't have. You get to see your favorite celebrities in some cases.
Here he is. Welcome, Peter Steele. Peter Steele.
He is the most beautiful man I've ever seen.
Could you ever take a woman that throws herself at you at these concerts seriously for a relationship? I mean,
Probably not, because if she'll throw herself at me, she'll throw herself at anybody. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Peter Steele, come on out here.
You're just...
Oh, come on. You love seeing him naked.
I love him. Is everything... Ah, he's shaking.
Do something with that champagne. Well, that's an interesting thing. Very good.
I think talk shows at times can be exploitative. I think, you know, they can at times dig into, you know, the same negative things that, you know, drive social media to be so popular, the rage click sort of thing, but in a talk show form. But I do like to be able to see other people, other ways of thinking, even if I don't agree with them, because it reminds you, you know, there are other people out there, right? You're probably weird to somebody. And also it'll help you make me feel less weird in some cases. Anyway, that's the Richard Bey Show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I'm not missing some big horrible secret that I forgot about or didn't know about. And we can just enjoy the show for what it is. A bunch of silly things going on. I hope you're having a good day, and I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.
Thanks for watching.